Hello, fifth grade. We're going to go ahead and get started on our math lesson for today, which is division with decimals, okay? So when there is a decimal point in the dividend, but no decimal point in the divisor, okay? So decimal point in the dividend, but no decimal point in the divisor, then we place the decimal in the quotient directly above the decimal in the dividend, which means we directly place our decimal right up here on top. Pretty easy, right? Okay, so I want you to know that when you're doing this division type problem, as you can see, this whole number can go into this whole number of 56 going into 212, right? Now, there may be a time where there is no number in front of this, okay? So I want you to see how this works. So now remember, we put the decimal place directly above. Sometimes it's easier to do that right away. That way you just automatically see it, okay? So let's go ahead and do this division problem. It is not on your page, okay? So we would say figure out how many times does 5 go into 21, and we would say that 5 goes into 21 4 times. We know that goes in for 20, but remember this is a 6, so we actually have to round this up to a 6, remember? So how many times does 6 go into 21? Only 3 times, right? And we go over above the next number. 3 times 6 is 18, carry my 1. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 is 19. Wait, 15, sorry, 16. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 is 16. Yes, thank you. And then we're going to subtract, and we have to borrow here and borrow here. So we end up with 12 minus 8 is 4, and 10 minus 6 is 4, and then we need to bring down our 8. We then have how many times does 6 go into 44, and that is 8 times. 8 times 6 is 48, you're right. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 4 is 44, and we then subtract and have a 0. So we know that 56 goes into 212 and 8/10, because remember, that would be like making it a fraction. We're going to read it as 8/10, right? That's our decimal, 8/10, 3 and 8/10 times. Okay, I know that sounds kind of weird, right? But just remember that when you have a decimal in the dividend, but you don't have a decimal in the divisor, it automatically goes straight up, okay? Now I wanted to show you an example of how you might not have a number before the decimal. So we're going to go ahead and do 315 divided into $211.05. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and say there's no decimal here, but there is one here, so we're going to go ahead and place it up here. Now I want you to remember this is a dollar sign, which means you need to have a dollar sign up here on top, okay? Okay, now we're going to go ahead and say we're going to round. 1 doesn't round 3 up, so we're going to use 3. 3 goes into 21. 6 times, right, is 18, but 315 can't just go into 211, so we have to put it over the next number, okay? So that means that 3 goes into 21 6 times, right? 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9, and 6 times 3 is 18. We can subtract, just double checking my numbers. Yes, I am. Okay, then I'm going to borrow here, right, and borrow here. 11 minus 9 is 2, and 10 minus 8 is 2. Can 315 go into 220? Nope, I'm correct. Bring down my 5. Now my 3 goes into 22. How many times? it is going to go in 3 into 18, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 is going to go in, but this is going to be a tricky one. I'm going to jump ahead and show you that this actually does go in 7 times, okay? If I did it on 6, I would get this same number here, and when I subtracted, I would get this one more time. I'm just going to throw it out there for you so you guys hear it. But mainly what I'm trying to show you is this decimal point in front. So 7 times 5 is 30. Oh, is 35. 35, right? 7 times 1 is 7, plus 3 is 8, 9, 10. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 1 is 22, and we have 0. That means that 315 goes into 211 and 5 cents, 67 cents times. I know that sounds weird the way I just said that, but it is. We know that the answer is 67 cents. And don't forget that dollar sign. So do you see how this is a large number, but it goes in on the other side of this decimal? Okay, so don't let this decimal fool you. You could pretend like it doesn't exist, but you do need to make sure that it's always there when you're giving your answer. Okay, so I want you guys to turn and take a look. You are going to be completing on page 275. You're going to be completing number 1, all, and number 2, all. And I also want you to do number 3, all, which is problems, word problems. And there's only 2, okay? And I want to give you a hint. Their division, okay? So yes, when it says on 3A, in the past month of 31 days, there was 23.56 inches of rain that fell. What was the average rainfall per day? You're going to divide, ready? 31 into 2356. So you're going to do 31 into 2356. What are you going to do? You got to bring that decimal up there, and that's going to be your average, okay? Then on B, it says Mr. Blackburn worked 256 days last year, and he made $30,784. So they want to know, what is his average per day? So like, how much does he make every single day? So you're going to do the same thing. You've got to divide. We know average, right? We add everything up and then we divide, right? Well, they've already added up what he's made for the total year. So you just have to divide his days into his salary, okay? So that would be 256